Hey guys, RJ here, and I want to go over something with you guys that's very near and dear to my heart. It's one of my most beloved childhood series that I saw growing up as a kid, and now Netflix has actually chosen to redo the series. We've already had season one. This is our season two review of Voltron Legendary Defender, a Netflix original. So let's go ahead and get started. So, guys, just a warning up front here. If you have not seen season two of Voltron Legendary Defender, an original on Netflix, please stop watching the video here. There are spoilers ahead, and I don't like doing non spoiler reviews, so go ahead and turn this off, go watch the series, and come back and then view my review. So, starting off, let's go with who's starring Kimberly Brooks, Reese Darby, and Josh Keaton. Uh, the voice acting for this show, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. The voice acting for this show is perfect. Okay, this is the same studio. I mean, they already brought you season one of Voltron, which was fantastic. It got great critic reviews, rightfully so, in my opinion. But basically, this studio is the same studio that is renowned for Legend of Korra, which was the sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender, a huge hit over on Nickelodeon. And this studio, called Studio Mir, has actually gotten a lot of press lately because they keep coming up with these cult shows, whether it be revitalized like Voltron Legendary Defender or something original like an original IP like Legend of Korra. They've done a great job of adapting both different types of into a basically an animation style that is it draws to a lot of people. It's not like Japanese animation where it kind of caters to a particular crowd for some of the shows, but yeah, this is like they're great at starting cult classics, and I think that this Voltron series is definitely another thing that they're just going to add to their repertoire. They've basically been building a studio presence here in the U.S. for the last couple of years, and yeah, no, they have my vote. Whatever they put out over the next couple of years, I will be watching with intense eyes because I love Legend of Korra. That's one of my favorite animated shows on American television in the last 10 years. Yeah, they're great. Studio Mir, go look them up. They're fantastic. And yeah, so they did a great job this time with voice acting again. There's actually some of the same voice actors as in Legend of Korra, which I'm fine with because that show is terrific. So they've nailed that. I think Keith's voice actors is actually one of my favorites. He does a great job of kind of convincing you that he's like this struggling teenager and you don't know what he's like what he's actually going through. He's very good at keeping mysterious, and yeah, I really like that voice actor. And then I also love Kimberly Brooks as Allora, Princess Allora. She does such a good job of articulating these, like, they have weird terms for everything. And basically she does a really good job of being able to like roll off these long lines. And yeah, you guys don't really care about the voice acting. Let's go ahead and get started into something that's more fun. And the plot of this season was, I wouldn't say anything special, but it definitely didn't fall short for me for anything. Basically, you kind of have to structure these because they're 13 episodes. I feel like Netflix feels as if they have to structure them a certain way, where it kind of seems each season they're getting broken up in the middle of the season and then brought back, and then they do something huge with Voltron at the end. I'd kind of like to see them go away from this trope in season 3 because I'd like to see them kind of break, like we're ready for this to happen again. They all get broken up and then they come back at the end of the season and then they all fight. Yeah, I would like to see them kind of break that up for the third season, and I think I don't know if how many seasons this is actually like they're planning on doing. So they have plenty of opportunity going forward to switch things up, and clearly at the end of this season, it was left on a huge cliffhanger. And yeah, so there's a lot of things they can do for season 3. I just kind of hope that they mix up the way in which they present the season a little bit differently. I thought season 1 and it's a winning formula, so I can't be mad about that. But yeah, I do think that they need to switch it up for season 3. Maybe throw a wrench in the plans. Maybe someone of the team gets captured for a very extended period and they have to find themselves. I see that a lot of that stuff happen in like season 3 of shows where they kind of have to branch off of, they've built a solid repertoire so far, and now they kind of have to build off on their own. They have the audience. So yeah, I'm excited what they'll do with that. But the major plot points, basically, Keith, we learned that he's Galra. That was pretty crazy for me. I mean, I felt like he was acting weird as soon as I got to the Blade of Marmora, and I thought the way he was acting was very interesting too, because he seems so unsure of himself in pretty much every facet of his life. And it's just funny to me because you think about these guys, they're paladins, they're chosen to save the universe, and some of them don't even have their own life shit figured out. So I do like the way that they presented Keith, and the way he kind of grows throughout this. And at first, I thought some of the other characters kind of got left out. I thought Pidge kind of got left out. I thought Hunk kind of got left out. I like the character development overall through the plot for this season. I just felt like it was a little bit lacking compared to season one, where they're each discovering their lines, they're unlocking their abilities, and Shiro ends up unlocking his ability, but obviously that has unintended consequences there at the end. We have literally no idea where he went. But yeah, I thought some of the characters within season 2 probably could have had a little bit more development added on. I thought we got great stuff from the first season. I thought there was a lot of character development in season 1, and maybe that's why they kind of went more action-oriented for season 2. But I foresee us getting a lot more character depth over the coming seasons. They're going to start exploring more like character faults and how these kids want to basically turn themselves into adults and what they need to fix. And I don't know if this show's gonna kind of approach any love interests. I haven't really gotten that vibe yet. Maybe once this whole season I got a literal miniature vibe, mini, like really tiny, for Allora and Keith. I don't know. Tell me, everyone else, tell me what you thought. Did you feel like there was just a wee bit of tension going on there? I'm not gonna say that they're getting paired or anything like that. But yeah, I thought there was definitely a little bit of tension, after Allora goes and apologizes to Keith for basically giving him the cold shoulder for a couple of weeks there, where she's like, "Oh, you're part Goro," and clearly he is a good guy. He's fighting for the Paladins, he's fighting for the universe, and she obviously ends up realizing this and apologizes to him. But yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of sexual tension there. I'm not gonna try and make a prediction here that they're gonna end up together. Because I haven't really gotten the full-on vibe of this show yet, whereas like Korra and the Last Airbender, I got a major feeling of like, boom, these people are being paired, boom, these people are being paired, and I haven't gotten that vibe a whole ton yet, and they have tons of time, like I said, they have tons of time to go and explore these things, but yeah, I haven't personally gotten that vibe yet that they're actually going to take it in that direction. So so other big things, the fight at the end, I don't know what else to say. The fight at the end. It was really, really well choreographed. I like the way that Voltron breaks apart a few times, and the team has to bring it back together. And one of my favorite scenes, Voltron aside, fighting. One of my favorite scenes definitely has to be Allura fighting the witch, and she ends up finding out that the witch is actually from Altera, and I definitely need to know more about that. How is she related? Does like Allura know how to practice witchcraft? And like, I know that they kind of say that the castle is magic, but like, I haven't seen her cast anything until those last few moments where they're battling it out on Zarkon's bridge. And speaking of Zarkon, I think they've done a pretty good job of making him almost a likable villain, almost. Because there are parts where you're like wondering, like, why does he want the Black Lion so bad? Is it just power? Is it just power that he's obsessed with, or is it something else? Because every time his advisor comes in to, give him advice, like, hey, you should probably stop chasing the Black Lion. I think they're coming here with a surprise attack. And you just like, Zarkon, like, no, leave me alone. But yeah, I think that there's something more there. And I guess we're going to find out whether he has a son, because they say prince at the end. So I guess we're going to find out pretty much, and I'm going into this I'm trying to do this as a neutral reviewer, okay? I don't know anything about the past Voltron universe. I try to do that for pretty much all of my videos. So, so I'm really excited to see what they do with that, because I think Zarkon's kind of, they're positioning for him to be out of the picture for next season. So they're going to bring in this Prince character. I'm sure that he's going to be, some grade levels of BA over him, and so Zarkon did a pretty good job this season of making, like, he almost seems human at times, where he's like reaching out to the Black Lion and he wants it, and obviously he wants it for power and stuff. I'm just saying, I think that there might be an ulterior motive here, where there's some past history that is not resolved between Zarkon and the Black Lion, and I'm kind of curious, because like we see some of it with Shiro, where he goes and learns about the Black Lion's past, and basically why Zarkon has control over it, and he ends up saying, you don't command the Black Line, you put trust in the Black Line, and the Black Line put trust in me, and that's ends up why Shiro ends up winning that battle against Zarkon. But God, I have to touch on it though. The scene where basically the end scene where they end up, cutting Zarkon in two, and you see Shiro like plug in his thing finally and pull it out, and oh man, the animation style for that too was just like they went all black and white for those like few moments. That was such a good touch. Oh my gosh, like Netflix, like you're killing me, man. That was just so, like, you just see the stretch lines, and you can see like the force on his face from what he's doing. And I don't know if he's trapped inside the Black Line now. That would be my guess, is maybe he's not able to get out, and that power was just too much for him, so the Black Line had to bring him in and heal him or something. I don't know, but that scene where they drew that was spectacular, and I think this is a pretty good segue into the drawing overall for the show. I really do not have too many complaints. I'm pretty good on catching animation quirks, but Studio Mir, pretty much for everything I've seen in all of their animations, they're solid. They don't miss things. They don't draw off figure faces even when they're a little bit further in the background. They do a good job of filling in characters when they do big circles and big groups. In general, they just do a really good job of mixing the vivid colors that go, because like space is black, but then Voltron, it has 4 different colored lions, and then on top of that, like, so you have all these contrasting, plus his laser beam, and you have a lot of contrast going on in space. So the purples that they do with Zarkon and his whole army, and then versus this triumvirate of color, I really like the way that they kind of put that as a backtone, and you have space, which is all black, and yeah, the colors really pop in this show. They don't miss a single beat, in my opinion, on animation. There might have been like maybe 1 or 2, but it's not enough for me to drop any letter grades on that at all. A+ for the animation for you guys. And then on top of that, the music in that last 2 episodes were like, they have like the holy singers going like, oh, 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 oh. Yeah, that was like, it was so like high tense moments, and like the tension was like so bad, and I was just like, I'm just sitting at my desk like, oh my god, guys, like you can't lose right now. I honestly thought that they were just gonna lose this season and then get like banished or something to the opposite end of the galaxy, and all have to come back together again. But yeah, I really like the way that they ended up pulling in the music throughout this show. And the only issues I ever really had with the music in the show were the same issues I had with a few of the episodes, where they were a little bit slower paced. Some of them just didn't flow as well as I wanted to, but I got over that because of the places in which they took us. They took us, the bind, or the gravity binding place with the universes flipped over itself. That was awesome looking. The underwater planet where they go down and the mermaids being controlled by that, and the Allora crystal where they end up basically having to fight that evil machine again that has all the arms with the lasers on the side of the arms and stuff. So they end up having to fight that too, and just the visuals for the landscapes where they're fighting at. And I know a lot of this takes place in space, so it's hard to say that, but the show does a really good job of giving you like an actual feel for the planets that you're on. There's like characters there that you actually care about, and I think as they continue to build out the world, have the Blade of Marmora, and the people that have tree technology. I cannot remember their names right now, but pretty much, as you continue to build out this world and this universe, we're gaining more and more people that we begin to care about. So I think that they're probably maybe going to set us up for something down the road, and maybe I do a theory video for season 3. But yeah, I think overall they did a really good job of pacing in this season. There were definitely some slower parts in the middle, but that's the same as season 1. Season 1 had some really slow parts in the beginning. The beginning of season 1 was like ridiculously slow. I almost stopped watching it because it was so slow, but I stuck it out because I loved this series as a kid, and it paid off big time because the finales for season 1 and season 2 were absolutely terrific. They nailed every single part of it. It had all the tension that I wanted. It did not have the resolutions that I wanted, but that's not a knock on the show. That's just on my expectations going into watching it. And I think just in general, this show does such a good job all around. There's not much stuff that falls in the cracks, and there's so few shows nowadays where I can actually go out and say, like, this show nails 90% of the stuff that it tries to do. And yeah, so I guess I'm really happy with this season. I really like the way the plot went. I like how open they have it for season 3. We get to find out where Shiro went. We get to find out if there's anything between Keith and Allora besides maybe just a little bit of grudge because of his birth. And yeah, so there's a lot left open, but I'm very satisfied. I'll probably be satisfied for another month or two, and then I'll go back and rewatch this because this season was fantastic. And if you haven't seen it yet, and you for some reason watched this review and I spoiled however much for you, please go watch it. This was a great season 2 of television, and Netflix deserves to be applauded for the shows that it's actually running out there and are doing a great job. Okay, you're not going to find this quality of animation and storytelling on an everyday basis. Like this is a once in a year type of thing, or once every other year. And yeah, Studio Mir, keep up the good work. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much all I had to say about season 2. It was terrific, and if I had to put a score on it, I will give it a 9.25. Yeah, that's right, I'm going for a quarter point this time. 9.25 out of 10. This show nailed it for me. It was the whole package. It kept me laughing. It kept me interested. I was invested in the characters and the storyline and the music and the animation, and I could go on and on and on and on and on and gush and nerd. And yeah, so pretty much 9.25 out of 10. There's really not that much I'd change about this season. There's always going to be a few slow episodes in this type of show, and yeah, they do a good job of minimizing the negativity for it. So overall, 9.25 out of 10. And let me know, guys, is that score too high for you guys? Let me know down in the comments. Do you guys have any theories on season 3? Are Keith and Allura, is that thing real, or am I crazy? Where did Shiro go? Is he inside the lion? Is he halfway across the universe? Is he, meditating with angels in the outfield? I want to know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions down below. Did you like this review? Please like it, comment, subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. That helps us out the most. And follow us on social media. All of that stuff is in the video description. And until next time, guys, I'll see you soon.